This is the tallest mountain in Europe. This is a road in Nepal. And this is what happens when a mountain collapses. On average, mountainous countries are poorer than flat countries. But why? And is there anything they can do about it? First, let's get this out of the way. Yes, some rich countries have lots of mountains, like Switzerland, Austria, and Japan. And yes, some poor countries are flat as a pancake, like Bangladesh, Belgium, and the Netherlands. So this isn't a perfect rule, but it is true that across the world there's a general pattern. More mountains means less money. So let's start by getting our geography straight. These are the Andes in South America, the Himalayas in Asia, and the Alps right here in Europe. Altogether, these mountain ranges and all the other ones around the world take up about 15% of Earth's land. Okay, now that we know where the mountains are, let's look at 3 reasons why they make countries poor. Reason no. 1. Mountains are remote. They block important trade routes. Let's imagine we're trying to trade coffee from Colombia to New York. We could ship it directly across the ocean, but that would be expensive. Or we could ship it over land through Panama, but that'd be even more expensive because we'd have to cross the Andes. The mountains raise the cost of transport. It's just how it is. So people and businesses in mountainous countries often can't sell their stuff in faraway markets. And if they can, it'll be much more expensive, which means they usually don't. That means fewer sales and less money. What about shipping within the country itself? Oh, that's tough too, because rivers tend not to flow over mountains, which means building roads and railways is harder and, again, more expensive. So people in mountainous countries not only have a harder time selling their stuff to the world, they also have a harder time buying stuff from the world. This problem is called remoteness, and it affects countries like Nepal, Bolivia, Laos, and Papua New Guinea. All of them have one thing in common: lots of mountains. Problem no. 2. It's hard to build stuff in the mountains. This is called steep terrain, and it makes 2 big problems. First, it makes agriculture harder. Here, you can see how farmers carved terraces into the mountainside so they could grow crops. But all this extra work makes farms less productive, so people do unmake as much money from farming. Second, it makes roads far more expensive to build and even more expensive to repair. When it rains, the mountain doesn't stop the water, it just redirects it. And that means landslides. Just ask the people who live along this road in the Philippines. So people and businesses in mountainous countries have to pay high prices for fragile roads that frequently break. Now, problem no. 3 mountains are dangerous. Earthquakes, landslides, and floods hit harder in the mountains. That S because the ground underneath them is unstable, and there S not much flat land to redirect the water. In 2015, an earthquake in Nepal, which is one of the poorest countries in the world, destroyed roads, bridges, and buildings. A few years later, a landslide destroyed this bridge, cutting off an entire village. Then in 2020, a glacial flood hit the same village. All this made the villagers poorer and set them back decades. Now let's look at a surprise. Nepal has one of the highest poverty rates in the world. 31% of people there live in extreme poverty. But look next door to the west. This is Switzerland. Now, geographically, it's pretty much the same. Same climate, same latitude, same size, but Switzerland is super rich. Its biggest exports aren't manufactured goods or even high-tech products. It's cheese. Seriously, how did Switzerland get so rich? Well, one reason is its mountains. Since the 19th century, the Swiss have built an incredible transport system. Hundreds of kilometers of tunnels and over 200 years of experience running trains in the mountains has made Switzerland's rail system the most punctual in the world. And its roads are some of the safest. And because it's a small country, the Swiss can rely on neighboring countries to provide most of the stuff they don't make, like food and raw materials. Finally, the Swiss have strong institutions, which means it's relatively easy to do business there. So companies are willing to pay the high taxes. Ordinary people trust the government, and politicians focus on long-term solutions instead of short-term gains. Basically, the Swiss took their geographical challenges and turned them into advantages. And that's something no one else in the region has managed to do, except, of course, for the Austrians. But they're not quite as rich. So why are some poor countries stuck in poverty while others use their mountains to become rich? It's not about the mountains, it's about what you do with them. Mountains are a challenge, but they're not a death sentence. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more world-changing geography.